Now see guys, if you are a student and you are studying, you will be spending a lot of time in the library. In today's video, I'll give you some strategies on how to use your library time efficiently to get what you desire. In this regard, I will give you a few tips that you may adopt which will help you with your studies. So let's get started. The first tip is before going to the library, make sure that you create a computer database for the resources you are going to gather. In fact, you can create your own database for the literature you read. You can use a spreadsheet software to keep a track of potentially useful literature sources, or you might use a software specifically designed for creating bibliographic databases. Some examples could be EndNote, OneNote, RefWorks, Biblioscape. By searching the internet, you can actually find and download free software that will help your purpose. Bibliographic software programs typically have designated places or fields for all the information you would need in order to create a reference list, such as an author, title date, journal title, page numbers. These programs can create your reference list for you. I'm sure if you have used EndNote or OneNote, you know what I'm talking about. Most programs will allow you to use whatever format your institution or academic discipline requires. For example, if you want to change from APA style of referencing to Harvard style, it is available just with a click of a button. If you want to learn how to use any of these programs, of course there are tutorials available. I plan to make one video on using EndNote in future and hopefully I will release it soon. By putting the information you collect in an electronic database, you can later find anything you want in a matter of seconds. For example, perhaps you want to find books and articles written by a specific author. You can search the author field in the entire database. The program will identify every record for that author. In addition, you can rapidly sort the data by whatever field you choose. For example, if you want all of your sources listed by publication date, the program will, with appropriate instructions, rearrange them in chronological order. Go to the library armed with data gathering tools. Bring a laptop with your database set up and ready to go. If you decide to go low tech, then paper pencil route is fine as well. You should have some systematic way of recording the information you collect. Ideally one that will also allow you to easily organize it. A paper and pencil approach involves taking note paper or index cards on which to write what you find, not only information relevant to your topic, but also information about the other sources in which you find it. Titles, authors, journal titles, publication dates. Some people going the paper and pencil route have found it helpful to print up a large number of note-taking forms, and it is up to you whether you want to go the electronic or digital way or the paper and pencil way. Identify the materials you want to read, books, articles, and determine whether your own library has it. You will probably identify many of the sources you need by consulting the library catalog and perusing indexes and abstracts in online databases. As you make a list of your desired sources, make sure you keep track of the specific searches you conduct. For example, make a list of which indexes and other databases you consult, as well as which keywords you use and in what order. Keeping such records ensures that you won't duplicate your efforts. Let computers make lists for you whenever possible. For instance, if you're using one of your library's online databases, you will probably be able to print out the sources you identify, or if you prefer, email your list to yourself. And if you are using a bibliographic software program like EndNote to organize your literature, you may be able to import all the information for a particular source from a library database directly into your own database. Check the library holdings for the books and journals you identify. More specifically, make a note of whether the library owns the sources you need, and if so, where they are located and whether they are currently on loan to another user. In case of journals, you also like to check whether they are available in paper or online or maybe a microfilm. Develop an organized plan of attack for finding the sources you have identified. Arrange any paper and microform sources you need to obtain according to where they are located in the library. For instance, you can organize books by call number. You can organize journal articles first by paper versus microform, and then by the specific journals in which the articles appear. If your university has 2 or more separate libraries, you will also want to organize your source by the specific building in which they are located. Track your sources. Especially after you have organized your sources and you're ready to go, find them, look them over. Keep a record of whether each item was found and used, found but not determined, or determined not to be helpful, or not found at all. As you review the stacks, don't forget to browse the neighboring shelves as well. Record all basic information as you read each source. Be careful not to make careless, half-complete notes that when you read them later are either unintelligible or so lacking in essential information that they are practically useless. If you are using paper to record your findings, write legibly or print clearly. If you can't distinguish between undotted I's and closed up E's, or between carelessly made A's and O's, you will find yourself scurrying back to sources for such details and then waste your time. In addition to recording any essential bibliographic information you haven't previously obtained, you also want to take sufficient notes about the content of the source to enable you to recreate its ideas when you're writing your literature review. As you do so, you may find it helpful to keep track of the pages on which you have found certain ideas. Page numbers are also essential if you are quoting a source word for word. Also put quotation marks around word for word transcriptions of phrases or sentences in a source. Later, the quotation marks will remind you that they are someone else's words and not yours, and must be identified as such in your literature review. Otherwise, it will be considered plagiarism. Identify the sources or identify the strategies for obtaining the sources that are not immediately available in your library. I'm sure you won't find everything in your library. Some books may be either checked out to other users, or some books may be not among the library holdings. So what can you do in this case? Put a hold on a checked out book. If you discover that a book has been checked out, but it is due to be returned shortly, your university catalog system will probably let you put a hold on the book, so that you are the next one in line to check it out when it comes in. If your system doesn't provide this option, ask the librarian at the circulation desk to put a hold on the book for you. The librarian will contact you as soon as the book is returned and save it for you for a few days at the circulation desk. You may also, in many university libraries, they are allowed to check out books for an entire semester or academic year, but must be returned earlier if someone else wants to reuse them. If you discover that a book you need is checked out for a long period of time, maybe for several months or longer, you can ask for the book to be recalled so that you can have access to it. Some university catalog systems let you recall a book yourself. For example, you might see a request button on the catalog page for the book. Clicking on it will probably initiate a recall notice to the person who currently has it. You can also submit a request for the source through interlibrary loan. Almost all libraries have cooperative arrangements to exchange resources with other libraries. In all likelihood, you will be able to order a book or journal article through such interlibrary loan using your library's catalog system. A low-tech alternative is to make the request through your library's interlibrary loan office. Typically, you can get books and journal articles from other libraries at little or no charge, except perhaps for photocopying. You can order, or you can actually check Google Books also for older out-of-print books. Some books available on Google Books are no longer protected by copyright, and you may avail them free of charge. Those still under copyright are available only to the extent that the copyright holders have given permission to do so. In such cases, you may be able to view excerpts of the book, but may need to pay a small fee to see the entire book. However, you can order books from a bookstore. Most bookstores will order any book that is currently in print and obtain it for you within a week or two. You can also order both new and used books through online booksellers such as Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. You can use an online document delivery service. Now, this is available with many libraries, and they provide electronic copies of articles from selected journals. For example, there is databases such as Academic Search Premier or JSTOR, PsycInfo. There are others that provide electronic copies of conference papers and other non-published works. If you find one or more dissertations that pertain directly to your research problem, you can order complete copies through ProQuest. Dissertations and thesis full text proquest.com. So some of the services may be available to you free of charge through the university library, while others may charge you a fee. So as you conduct your literature review, you will have to undoubtedly need to repeat the cycle of steps that I have told you about. With each round, however, don't worry, you will become more of an expert about the topic you are producing. So guys, I hope you liked this video in which I provided some tips on using your library time efficiently, because as a student, I'm sure you are going to be very busy studying a lot of things. So you need to use your library time efficiently so that you can get the best out of it. I'll see you soon with my next video, guys, and I look forward to your comments and feedback. Bye for now.